Oh yeah, riding high. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On Two Wheels.
Although it's not gonna last this time. Not gonna last.
Oh, thank goodness. Yep, you saw that right, folks. On Three Wheels, that's the name of the game for this episode because Yamaha has come out with this new crazy three-wheeled contraption called the Niken that we are going to get a chance to ride.
That's right. And it got us talking and thinking about all the different weird three-wheeled contraptions that have occurred over the many years of motorcycles. Basically, ever since there's been motorcycles, people have been trying to bolt a third wheel to it. And this Ural is a perfect example, right? This is the original three-wheeled vehicle, kind of.
The dinosaur of the three-wheeled world.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there have been lots of other options out there. I mean, Harley has the old Tri-Glide. They got the two big fat car tires in the back and basically a motorcycle up front. It's what you see a lot of older, heavier riders enjoying. And then we also have, of course, the opposite situation where you put two wheels in the front and one in the back, brings you to the Can-Am Spider.
That thing's a little bit more advanced, right? It's got modern technology, it's got traction control, stuff like that.
Yep, it's certainly more stable. I would even say it's a little bit too stable. I mean, the thing does not steer well.
And it doesn't lean over, right? Which is one of the problems with three-wheeled
Yeah,
vehicles.
it's too car-like.
That's right.
Speaking of car-like, you got the old slingshot. I mean, this thing even has a steering wheel. Like, what is up with that?
It's a fun little vehicle, but it does not count as a motorcycle if it has a stick shift and a steering wheel. Agreed?
Doesn't count if it has a steering wheel, and frankly, I don't think it counts if it doesn't lean. And of course, if you're talking about leaning with three wheels, you can't forget the Piaggio MP3. Pretty cool because it does allow you to lean like a motorcycle, but
it's a scooter.
You don't shift, it's a step through, so it's got a lot of the dynamics we like, but it doesn't have the performance that we want when we ride a motorcycle.
Right, and this is why we're thinking that Yamaha has maybe finally cracked the code of making a three-wheeled vehicle dynamic and interesting in a way that a motorcycle is. Because even though sometimes three-wheeled vehicles are cool, the Ural especially, it's not really the same experience.
It's not exciting.
Exactly.
With the new Yamaha Niken, it leans and it's got the back end is essentially an MT-09. So you're looking at a 850cc inline triple.
Yep.
You're looking at performance, you're looking at a manual transmission, and of course you've got that leaning. We got a lot of questions about the new Niken, as we're sure you guys do too, and thankfully, On Two Wheels has an invite to go ride the damn thing.
In Austria, of all places.
Heck yeah.
I love Austria.
Austria in the spring is going to be beautiful.
Strudel and mountain roads. And you got to go last time to Europe to ride the Wittpillen.
That's true.
And get your grounds percolated. And this time you get to go again, don't you?
I do.
You're just a spoiled little boy.
I've got the magic ticket. I get to go over to Austria. I'm going to get to ride this three-wheel contraption and see what it's all about.
You're a snivelly little boy who gets everything you want, and I am sick of it.
Well, right now, I want you to take me to the airport. So, chauffeur, hit it. Welcome to a very cold and very windy mountaintop in Austria, and welcome to the new Niken. This three-wheel contraption is quite a machine, and you know what? No matter where you are in motorcycling, no matter where you're going to approach this thing from, it's guaranteed to do one thing, and that is cause you to have a lot of questions. What is it? Who is it for? What's it supposed to do? And what is it capable of? Fortunately, we've got a day of riding this thing on some of the twistiest roads in Europe, so we are definitely going to find out. When you look at the Niken, you can't help but think, what is that? From the headstock back, it seems like a regular motorcycle, but in front of the handlebar, things get weird. Underneath that funky fairing is a linkage system that allows those two front wheels to lean and turn just like a normal bike. And because the Niken has two front wheels, you're probably thinking the same thing I was. This is clearly for beginners. They probably built it because it'll be safe, it'll be stable, and it'll attract car drivers otherwise too intimidated by the danger of balancing on two wheels. The only problem with that is, well, you'd be wrong.
You heard me right. this is definitely not a beginner's bike. And think about it. It's got a 850cc engine that's making about 110 horsepower. It's got a quick shifter. It's got a manual transmission. It doesn't have any sort of self-balancing feature, so you have to put your feet down when you stop. It doesn't have a reverse gear. And oh yeah, when it comes to the US, later this year, it's gonna cost around 16 grand. So beginner's bike, this is not. It's supposed to be for people who kind of want to push the envelope and experience a new way of riding a motorcycle. And sitting behind the bars here, it feels fairly traditional. I mean, the steering is light and linear. It leans like a motorcycle, which is part of what's so appealing about it and makes it exciting. I will say that there is a little something that reminds me of, say, an R1200 GS front end, wherein it's a little bit different. There's just like clearly something between the handlebars and the front contact patches, but still, I'm willing to bet that if you were here riding in the Alps and you were to close your eyes, you would, well, I guess the first thing you do is run off the road and sail through the air because we're way up in the mountains. But before you did that, I'd be willing to bet that you wouldn't know that you were on a non-traditional motorcycle. And while it does feel a lot like a conventional motorcycle, it is quite a bit heavier, and that weight makes itself apparent when you try and flick the bike from side to side. And while it's got this fantastic engine that we know so well from the MT-09, the performance is a little bit stunted on account of that added weight, but they have also made the crankshaft a little heavier, and they've also changed the fueling to kind of suit the character and the attitude of this particular bike. Another thing that it does that the MT-09 doesn't do is track foot peg quite a bit. If you're wondering how far this thing leans over, it is mechanically limited because of that funky front end to about 45 degrees, but the foot pegs touch down much sooner than that. I think that if you're looking for performance, if you're looking for deep lean angles, you're gonna be better off on a two-wheeled vehicle. The performance envelope is much wider, much broader on a two-wheeled bike. But ultimately, having two contact patches up front instead of one is gonna give this bike some advantages. Anytime the road is, say, wet or slippery, or there is sand or gravel or anything like that, you've got more grip. You are less likely to slide and less likely to fall down. So that is a clear benefit to this design. And that is a statement in a nutshell.
All right, so after a very labor-intensive and difficult morning riding here in the Alps, we figured out how this bike works, and we've explored the wild mechanics of that front end. And we know who it's for. It's for the more experienced rider who's looking for a zany new motorcycle with a lot of front end grip. But even with those bases covered, there are still some very critical questions that we have to answer.
Definitely gonna need to turn traction control off. Hold that down. All right, let's give it a go.
Let's see if it'll drift.
Woo. That answers that. Sure does drift. That was exciting. For all of you MC Commute Zach Courts fans out there, we gotta find out if the Niken can be backed in. So I'm just gonna have to... Okay, I think we're all set. Let's give it a shot. Coming in hot! Yeah! Yep, you can back it in. All right, will it wheelie? This is always my favorite question to answer. TC definitely gonna need to be off. There we go. All right, let's give it a go, shall we? Alley-oop! Woohoo! Yeah, wheelies. That was awesome. Man, that is delicious. And I deserve it. Nothing like a cold beer after a long, hard, arduous day of testing brand new motorcycles. Can't believe Zach says I'm spoiled. I don't know what's up with that guy.
But in any case, we covered a lot of ground with the Niken and we answered a lot of questions. But I feel like at the end of the day, there's still one very important question that we haven't answered. And that question is why? Why build a three-wheeled motorcycle? And I want to assert that this is a motorcycle. After riding it, I mean, it feels totally conventional, it feels totally natural. You would never know that there's another wheel down there. But that question of why? This is Yamaha pushing the boundaries. They're exploring new technologies. They're just trying to build a bike that's got a bunch of traction up front. And I mean, it's a risk, right? But we're motorcyclists. We always take risks. That's part of what we like about riding. And you know what? If three wheels still just turns your stomach, there's plenty of two-wheelers out there. Yamaha is still making affordable, accessible, high-performance bikes, and so are lots of other people. So I think we answered a lot of questions about the Niken today. I'm sure there will continue to be lots more questions, but that's what we've got for you, and that's this episode of On Two Wheels. So signing off from Austria with the new Yamaha Niken. We'll see you guys next time.
Okay, well, Yamaha's idea of a metaphor was to put us out here on a slope on skis. And I guess it kind of makes sense. I'm seeing people who know what they're doing, who are really good at this, and they're carving through corners. They're carrying crazy lean angle. Only problem with this metaphor is I suck at skiing. I'm up here feeling pretty awkward, trying not to fall down, trying not to get in anybody's way. Holy crap, almost went down. And Spencer won't let me pull over and make yellow snow.
On a road like the one we are enjoying right now, which is barely one-lane ride. Keep saying ride instead of wide. On a road like this one that I'm enjoying right now, which is barely one-lane ride. What the f***? Sometimes I surprise myself with how bad I am at this.
It like spins tire for a second and then it comes up. It's pretty exciting. Do I need to do another wheelie? If I have to. And do you want me to still roll on this GoPro or cut this guy?